Evidence.
Okay, take roll real quick and then we'll get going. How far did we get into lesson 2 of 10 yesterday?
The end of the definition of carbohydrates.
Definition of carbohydrates. Okay, we'll pick up there. But before that, I have a little bit of a very short film that I want to show you. And Bill, I'll have you zoom that a little bit. It's a film by a guy, Christopher, I'll have to find it quick and I'll tell you. He's a gentleman who does a lot of stuff about the environment. He'll do art projects, he'll do photography, he'll do pictures, he'll do different things like that about the environment and the problems that we have in the environment. He'll do projects out of plastic bags that are found in a town, and he'll make art projects out of that, or bottle caps, or pop caps, or water bottle tops, and things like that. So I saw this film last summer when I was taking my community health class. Our professor had us watch it, and we answered some questions about it. It's a really good film. It's kind of sad. I'm not a big animal lover by any means. I love my dog Rizzo, but I'm not a big animal lover by any means. But this has to do with the albatross on the island of Midway. Everybody know where Midway Island's at? Midway between Hawaii and Japan. So there was a gigantic war there, Pacific War, or battle in 1945 in the Pacific during World War II. And what happens is all of the drift waters from the West Coast and from Hawaii areas get pushed over to Midway. So everything that gets thrown in the ocean, that doesn't sink, that gets floated, or comes off the coast, or comes off the Hawaiian Islands, floats and ends up at Midway. Water bottle caps, pop bottle caps, pieces of plastic, stuff that gets pumped into the ocean and blown into the ocean and doesn't get retrieved. You guys saw the pictures from down at where Brazil, right? Where the Olympics were at? How that water and the garbage was in that. That's how this island ends up with it. So it's kind of neat. It's kind of sad. Kind of surprising about it, how it ends up that way. But and what happens to the birds. And I won't spoil it for you, but what basically happens to the birds is they eat these pieces of plastic and stuff, and they die. And they die, and he goes and takes pictures of them and sees them there, and there are hundreds of thousands of albatross on this island. Mr. Bodie knew about it when I told him about it. So I'm going to go ahead and click it up. I saved it today. I thought I had it, but I saved it today on my bookmarks, and I'm going to have you watch it. It's only about a 4-minute film, but like I said, I think it's I do think it's pretty sad and interesting, both I guess at the same time. How do I put that down? Let's put it here. There we go. Should be my last thing. There we go. Don't need the price guarantee. So it's 2,000 miles from the Asian continent, 2,000 miles from New Zealand, 2,000 miles, over 2,000 from the United States. All those little fuzzy things there are the baby albatross. They look kind of ugly when they're little, but they're kind of cute too. So, you know, it's not like there's 100 birds there, there's hundreds of thousands of birds on the island. That's what that bird had inside of it when it died. some of those other remnants or things that got washed up, and also some things left over that weren't completely cleaned up from World War II. And you can see all the garbage and stuff laying around.
Courage to face the realities of our time and allow ourselves to feel deeply enough that it transforms us and our future. Come with me on a journey through the eye of beauty. Across an ocean of grief. And beyond.
Chris Jordan, that's the gentleman's name. Okay, so a little depressing. I wasn't trying to depress you, but just go to think what all that stuff, all that plastic, all that garbage does when it's laying on that island. So think about where it's going in other places. What's it doing to Rio, in that area, and that continent of South America, and things like that. So a lot of waste, a lot of garbage, stuff that's not recycled, stuff that's either pumped into the ocean, or thrown into the ocean, or dumped into the ocean. So a lot of different things on that. When I first saw that film this summer, the very short version of it, I was kind of moved by it. Thought it was kind of crazy. I forgot to show my first semester classes that. And I know that's not about nutrition and things we're at now in chapter 10, but it is a lot about what kind of health? Environmental health. Okay, environmental health, community health, stuff that affects all of us. And you know, unfortunately, we haven't done a very good job taking care of the world. Unfortunately, as much technology as we have and things like that, we have not done a very good job taking care of it. So we get all the way through, we're on 2, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Lesson plan here. So it should boot up here real quick. So just a quick short review over lesson 1 yesterday. Nutrition, calorie, hunger, appetite. Alright? The vocabulary we went through. On those we said that appetite is what? What's appetite? John?
Psychological.
Psychological need, desire for food. What's hunger? Physical need for food. Okay? Then we got and started lesson 2 yesterday. Nutrients. Each one claims a central role. How many nutrients are there? Anybody remember? 6. Very good. 6. There's our vocabulary. 6 nutrients, that specific job. And we said, and this gives the body what it needs: energy source, healed and rebuild, sustain growth, transport oxygen cells, and regulate body functions. Perspiration, sweating, digestion, that's a big thing for water. Okay? So if you don't have these 6 types written down, make sure we know carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, and water. Okay? Should have those already. And the body uses nutrients to build and repair. Quick review: how many calories in a gram of carbohydrate and protein?
9 in fats and 4.
Yeah, 9 in fats and 4 in carbohydrates and proteins. Okay? Let's see if I can find this morning. I handed out period 1. Oh, hand that around. There should be 2 of those. I'm just going to hand around a nutrition label. One is from Orange Chicken and one is from Raisin Bran that's served here. There it is. You can give me this one, this side. I'll hand it around. You just look at it. It tells you calories in a 2,000 calorie diet, how much fat you should have, how many grams of carbohydrate, how many grams of protein, things like that. And then we will later be able to I'll give you a blank one that gives you the grams of fats, carbohydrates, and proteins, and you'll have to count and figure up the calories for that. So carbohydrates, starches, and sugars, found in foods, main source of energy. We said that starches, when we eat them, turn into what? Sugars. What form of sugars? Glucose. Very good. Okay? Did we go over the 3 types of carbohydrates? Okay, first type. Simple carbohydrates. Alright? And I wrote up on the board, simple equals sugars. So that's an easy way to remember it. A simple carbohydrate is a sugar. Now your book talks about 3 different types of sugars. It talks about glucose, lactose, and fructose. And we'll talk about that a little bit more. Second type of carbohydrate, complex. That would be legumes, grains, whole grains, non-whole grains, wheats, whole wheats, pastas, okay, things like that. And then fiber, we need fiber for what? Digestion. Okay, everybody needs it. Old people and young people. Everybody needs it. We have to get everything pushed through our body, all right? And fiber is one thing that does not do what? Anybody know?
Digest.
Yeah, very good, Preston. It does not digest, all right? It goes through our body to clean out everything that's in there. And it doesn't digest. So the good thing about that is we all need fiber. And then even on those nutrition labels I handed out, it gives you how many grams of dietary fiber there are within what you're eating, and the good that you can get out of it, and how many are in there. A lot of diets, if you use the dietary fiber against the calories, it becomes less because of the dietary fiber involvement. Weight Watchers is one of those diets. So simple carbohydrates equals sugars. Now this is one thing, in my opinion, I know it is, but I don't agree with it. Where's fructose come from? Fruits, right? I don't think, and this is just my opinion, I don't think that fructose is a simple sugar. Because when we look at fruits that we're eating, oranges, bananas, apples, grapes, blueberries, strawberries, things like that, the natural sugar is in them. It's not a refined sugar. It's a natural made sugar in there. And that's a great energy source. Whereas a simple, basic sugar, like a candy bar, is a refined sugar, and it's not a good energy source. Okay? So, it is a simple carbohydrate. I kind of disagree with that. I think it's more of a complex. Lactose, yes. Okay. Yeah, lactose is found in milk. It's the type of sugar that is in milk or in dairy products. Cottage cheese, milk, yogurts, different cheeses. Okay, it's in that. People, and we'll talk about this a little bit later, that are lactose intolerant, their stomachs are not able to use and absorb the lactose, so it kind of gives them the runs, gives them a bellyache, something like that, where they're not able to digest it and use it up. And then people either take a pill or they buy milk that's like Lactaid that has the lactose taken out of it, something like that, or go to a different type of milk like almond milk like I drink, or soy milk, something like that. So they occur naturally in all these things. Fruits, dairy products, honey, and maple syrup. And they're also added to processed foods. Anybody know what the main sugar is added to processed foods? Very good, John. High fructose corn syrup, HFC. And we'll talk a lot about that. high fructose corn syrup has become a necessity in a lot of processed foods. It's hard to find products that don't have it. What are the sugary cereals going to now? What's their big advertisement? Whole grain and no high fructose corn syrup in some of these. They're changing. So what are they adding if they don't have high fructose corn syrup? Another simple sugar, another refined sugar. Okay? Aunt Jemima syrup, Mrs. Butterworth syrup, Fairway brand syrup. Anybody know what that is? High fructose corn syrup with maple flavoring and coloring. It's not maple syrup. 100% pure maple syrup is 100% pure and natural. Okay? So it's way better for you. That's what I use in my coffee. That's what I use on my oatmeal. If I make muffins for me, if I make muffins with no butter and stuff or no oil in them, I use the maple syrup to sweeten them with the blueberries that I put in them. So it's a good, and honey's another good natural sweetener. Okay? Cold cereal's a big one. Bread, you can find breads out there now that don't have high fructose corn syrup in it. But you'd be surprised, you start reading bread labels, and there are a million kinds of bread at the store. How many of them have high fructose corn syrup? And then bakery products. Little Debbie's, you all know I love Little Debbie's. Alright, the Swiss cake rolls, the Suzy Q's, the cupcakes, all have high fructose corn syrup in them. Okay? The complex carbohydrates are long chains of sugars matched together. I'm not going to get into the scientific aspect, that's Mr. Bodie's job. Okay? But they're long chains of sugars that are linked together. Grains, grain products, beans, root vegetables such as potatoes. A lot of starch in potatoes. Alright? What's the new potato everybody's eating now? Been around for hundreds of years. The Yukon Golds are really good. They have a little less glycemic index and a little bit lower level of starch. But what's the one that's out there? It's a superfood right now. Not Reds. I love Reds too. Sweet potatoes. Okay? Sweet potatoes. Really, really good for you. You can cook them a million different ways. I like to quarter them. It sounds kind of weird. Or I'll cut them in chunks about like that, about that thick. Put a little bit of olive oil on them, and then I'll grill them right on my grill. Front and back, flip them over. They're pretty good. I like doing potatoes like that, like potato boats right on the grill. The skin gets kind of crisp. I like sweet potatoes. I put a little seasoning on them, maybe a touch of olive oil, no butter, no sugar. My wife made some in our air fryer last night. She bought an air fryer a couple weeks ago. Do you use it? What else do you cook in yours?
Everything.
Everything?
I make so much of
Jill tried broccoli. Didn't turn out so good. It got really dry and crunchy. She did the sweet potatoes last night. She cut them up just like a sweet potato fry, and they were really, really good.
And we cut up like potatoes and they're like, look like fries.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good. And then I did a chunk of salmon in there last Friday, and it was turned out pretty good. So different things like that. But the potatoes, the root vegetables, those are things you need. Okay, carbohydrate. Fiber, the only one that moves waste through a digestive system. What's a fruit that has a lot of fiber? Anybody know? What's that? Prunes have some because older people eat it. Okay. But no, grapefruit doesn't. Another high one on there. Not many citrus fruits do. Another high one on there. Apples, especially if you eat the peel. Great source of fiber. All right, great source of fiber. But that's why older people eat prunes, or people who have trouble going potty. All right, that's why they eat it. It helps push things through their system. So fiber is a tough, complex carbohydrate. The body can't digest it. So we need what with the fiber that we're taking in? A lot of water, 8 glasses a day, right? Okay, that helps push everything through you. All right, helps push it all through. Good sources. Vegetables, whole grains, that's a good picture of them there. Products made from whole grains, nuts, seeds, and legumes. Okay? 100% pure peanut butter. Alright? That's a good source of carbohydrate. You have to kind of watch, like Skippy and stuff, they add quite a bit of sugar to them. That's why they taste so good. Alright? I'm on the natural Smucker's 100% peanut butter now in it. I think it tastes real good.
So like,
Jif or whatever.
yeah, Jif just made a natural one, so.
They have a natural. Look at the second item on the Jif Natural is sugar. It's sugar. It's less sugar, but it's peanuts and then sugar. The Smucker's brand that we buy is peanuts.
Or mommy forever.
You know what? If you shake it up, and it's not bad, and I'm so used to it now, I've been eating it for over a year, that if I even try and taste the other peanut butter, it just really tastes really sweet. You can get some reduced in sugar, but yeah, the Jif one that says natural, and Skippy has one second ingredient, sugar. Okay, everybody know what a legume is? A bean, a form of a bean, okay, lentils, peas, different forms of legumes. Okay? The roll, the turn into glucose, main source of fuel for us. Stored in your body's tissue as, and you know what?
Glycogen.
Glycogen. Okay? Glycogen storages. And we talked about that. People running marathons and that, or have a big game the next day. Alright? Going to burn a lot of energy. The pasta are some good things to eat. Alright? To get stored up for those. People, especially runners, eat a lot of that. We still need proteins, and that's the big push right now on the diet, is lower carbs, more proteins. Carbs turn to sugars. A lot of them turn to fats. Alright? So, I see the correlation, but people your age, especially, and athletes, have to have carbohydrates. They have to have complex carbohydrates, and as the book calls them, simple carbohydrates like fruit. Okay? But you have to have them. Benefits of fiber. This kind of gives you an idea how much you should be eating a day. Ladies, 14 to 18 years old, 26 grams of fiber a day. Okay? Ladies tend to have a little more trouble than boys do using the restroom sometimes. Boys, 38 grams. Okay? And you can find that in a lot of food. On that sheet, dietary fiber in the orange chicken that they serve. No grams of dietary fiber.
That's
7, and that's Raisin Bran, right? So the Raisin Bran, if you get cereal here, 7 grams of dietary fiber. That's pretty good. Pretty good. Quite a bit of sugar in it too, but raisins are the second one. Sugar's the third. Guess what the fourth ingredient is? High fructose corn syrup. Okay? High fructose corn syrup.
Why is that Raisin Bran something like this?
People get that. The fiber does take away from the calories, so it helps quite a bit. And there's quite a bit of natural sugar in the raisins, but they add a lot more to it. That's why it tastes pretty good. John?
Do you know if it's not like natural or like added sugar?
It'll say if it's on it. It'll have an ad. If it says just sugar, you know, you can get fooled by some things. Like orange juice has sugars in it, but those, if it's 100% pure orange juice, it comes from fructose, okay? It will have a sugar equivalent, but it will be more of a natural sugar. It won't be a refined sugar, like white sugar, brown sugar, okay? Or high fructose corn syrup. Proteins. Body needs to build, maintain cells and tissues. Proteins are made up of what? What kind of chains, you scientists? Any scientists out here?
Amino acids.
Very good, John. Amino acid chains. Okay, they're made up of amino acid chains. And we'll talk about essential amino acids when we go on a little bit, and non-essential amino acids, things that we have to get in our body, things that we don't get from food, and the amino acids we have to get from eating certain kinds of food. So obviously we think of protein. What type of cells and tissues do we think of? Muscle we think of an awful lot, okay? Muscle, organ tissue, all right? Skin tissue on some things. Same with fats. We said that fats, little babies need a lot of fat and they get kind of chubby. Fat cells help develop what? Organs and brain, okay? Brain development. So they need that. 20 amino acids that are found in foods. You produce or synthesize all but 9. Does everybody understand that? Okay? So all but 9 your body takes care of. So where do those other 9 come from? food. Okay? The 9 amino acids, and I said 11, so I said that wrong, are essential aminos because they have to come from a food source. Your body doesn't develop it itself. The other 11, done by the body. You don't get them from a food source. And that was also in your section. So now we're going to get into our proteins. Good sources of protein. Sometimes animal sources are called complete proteins because they contain all the 9 essentials. So, where do we get it? We obviously think of meat because this is Iowa, and we eat beef and pork and chicken and turkey. Okay? Eggs. Alright? Good source. Okay? And eggs are kind of back on the good food to eat list. For a long time they were kind of on the bad food to eat list. Because of cholesterol. The yolk has a lot of cholesterol in it. Okay? But like the free-range chickens or the ones like Mr. Bodie has, they develop eggs with a lot of what? Anybody know?
No.
Omega-3 fats. So omega-3s are good for you. Alright? So those are better eggs for you. My wife, she eats a lot of eggs on the kind of Whole30 thing that she does. So we buy the free-range chicken eggs. Either we get them from Mr. Bodie, his hens aren't laying now, or we buy them at the store. They're about 4 times as much for a dozen free-range eggs.
Is it better to eat the whole egg or just the egg?
The egg white does not have the cholesterol, the fat in it, but the egg yolk tastes really, really good. I'll buy some egg whites sometime, the liquid ones, if I want some eggs, just so I try and stay off the fat aspect of it. I could probably eat an egg here and there and probably not affect me too much.
The yolk's worse.
Yeah, the yolk is worse, but that's also where you get a lot of the protein out of too, along with, and the good fat, and there's fat in it, but you also get it out of the white too. John?
Is it bad to eat like an egg raw?
An egg raw can be bad because, why do you suppose? Salmonella. Alright, salmonella, our buddy, old Sal. Okay? If it's not cooked, it can be raw. Now I know you see it in movies, Rocky.
Yeah.
You know, when I was growing up, he put 8 eggs in a glass and drank them. Okay? You can pick up salmonella pretty easily from that. Okay? That's the big problem with it. If it's not cooked, and like cake batter, cookie dough batter, who likes to look the beaters in the bowl now? Okay? Non-cooked eggs in it. But my wife, I would eat a chunk of it. She's like, yeah, that's got uncooked eggs in it. I'd still eat a chunk of it. It was great. My mom gave me the beaters when I was a kid. Okay? We gave them to our kids. You know, the cookie dough, I mean, that's the best part. Dairy products. Obviously, yogurts are great. And what are the new yogurts coming out now that everybody likes?
Australian?
Greeks. The Greeks and Australian has that Nobu one too. But they have higher content of protein, lower content of fat. Alright? Any other kind of yogurt's good for you? You have to watch. Some of them had added sugars to them. Okay? The 100% naturals aren't bad. I use a little bit of the fat-free natural Greeks and mix it in with my jar oats and shake them up. What's that? Yoplait is pretty good. The Greek ones, and is it Nobu or Nosu?
Yeah.
Is the brand right now. That's the really big one that puts in natural fruit with it. Cheese, obviously. Milks. Alright? And then soy. Okay? Soy. I drink soy milk along with almond milk. So that's a source of protein for me. Soy products. Have you ever eaten tofu?
Yes.
Okay, I've eaten it, alright, only at like Chipotle or Pancheros. So I'll get the veggie burrito or the veggie bowl, and then I'll have them put the tofu in there. Now, here's a little thing that I learned after I looked up those things online. For the fat content in the veggie burrito with tofu, and there's a name for it. Begins with the CH, it doesn't matter. So if I have that instead of chicken in my burrito, it has more fat. And I don't use cheese in my burrito. I get the beans, I get the rice, I get the guac, I get the pico, I get all the vegetables that they have. It has more fat than if I would get it with turkey or chicken, which is kind of hard to believe. Okay, but the way it's fried and the way it's cooked, I ate it because I had never eaten it before. So I had the guy say, "Can I try that? I want to get some on my burrito," and really did taste a lot different than pork. It's seasoned just like their pork and chicken is, So that's another source. A lot of countries use soy products and tofu and things like that for proteins. If it's a plant protein, they're usually missing one or more